Welcome, traveler. You have entered the realm of adventure. Prepare yourself for tales from beyond the dice.
Welcome back. We play role-playing games, especially Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I'm Luke, your DM, and with me is...
Ben. I play Cortaine, who has twice outlived his great nemesis, that being Turbo.
Peter, I'm playing Spigs, and he is the greatest engineer in all of Darkhaven. Not very hard because most of them die in like 5 days.
Thought he was an artificer that specialised in number threes, but that's okay. Hi everyone, Trav, Little Moss, a monk, half orc.
And I'm Levi. I play Lokag, a Goliath barbarian, and I'm looking to look after my little friend Gregor.
All right. Can all of you roll a d20? We will see who will recount the tale of the previous episode of Beyond the Dice.
Can I add a hero dice?
That's
to
a
my
no.
D20?
Moss, 8.
Lokag 10.
Cortaine 7.
Spigs 19.
Oh, Benjamin.
So, on the last session, the last episode of Beyond the Dice,
This was a lot more straightforward.
It was, and ironically, my explanation will be far more convoluted. So, we started off in a room with a laser barrier separating us from a lady. Her name was Rowena, I believe.
Edwina.
Oh, dang it! Last time I was
Convoluted.
like, no, it's not Rowena, it's Edwina. And then it just had that name stuck in my head. Oh well. Anyway, so Edwina, who was on the other side of this laser barrier, who seemed to be a henchman, a partner of Dr. Lazarus, who had resurrected Turbo in a contract with the Edict of Ire. There were also some other bad guys that we were fighting, and it was a heroic confrontation where we were just kicking ass and taking names. I think Spigs got downed, and then Cortaine shoved an adrenaline syringe into his heart and woke him up. And then we got down to the fact that it was just Turbo on our side of the laser grid. And Cortaine thought that maybe we could because we saw a zombie run through the laser grid without being damaged. So Cortaine reckoned that maybe they had some kind of chip or some kind of something on their person that meant that the laser grid would not harm them. And so Cortaine wanted to build a little tunnel with two of our enemies. We got one of them, and then the last one left was Turbo, and Edwina did not like the fact that Turbo was trying to kill us, and then she shot Turbo, didn't she? At the end,
She did shoot at him.
She shot Turbo, and then he died. And now we're just left in this awkward situation where, she seems like she's cool, but she's also working for Dr. Lazarus, who we've been told is a pretty bad guy who wants to use the Helm of the Undying to zombify everyone and take their souls. So, who knows what's going to happen.
Ben, you could have just said that we brought down the laser wall.
Well,
and we couldn't do anything about it.
Also, Cortaine found an amazing sword that is a +3 weapon. And also, Spigs
It can defeat giant snakes.
Exactly, and Spigs lost one of his legs.
One of his legs. It's just hopping away from him.
one.
It's gained sentience, and it's like, nah, I'm not dealing with this. He keeps pissing all over me.
Yeah, now he needs to replace his other leg with he has to have a wheel on the bottom of it so he can zoom around.
Like a trolley wheel, and it's like
it's
a fucked trolley wheel.
Exactly.
It's always going.
It all squeaks as it moves. Yeah, that's exactly it.
-10 to stealth.
All right, so where we pick up is back in that apartment room, if you will, this living space in the laboratory of Dr. Echton Lazarus. He has a surname which you have read in the reports. Lazarus was a name that was given to him because of his research and what he's focused a lot of his experimentation and study on. And that surname is Hokachi. So he's Echton Hokachi, known as Dr. Lazarus, and you were there in this wooden floorboarded room with these wood-panelled walls and these grand chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, these plush leather armchairs, couches, a fireplace. There are vats off to the west, built into this small what would you call it? A partition? A brickwork partition. And the vats have the family, the wife and daughter of Gregor Gruber, the dwarf that you'd met earlier, and who Lokag stands vigilant over defending. There is this orange beam wall that separates the room, lengthways from west to east, slightly crackling. You cannot see where it's projecting from. It seems like it's coming from maybe the seams in the roof and the walls in this wood panel and this polished concrete roof, but you're not quite sure. And beyond that laser beam wall stands Edwina. Let me just quickly... Nope, wrong one again. So just as a little refresher on Edwina, she has this tan skin, these black square tattoos underneath her eyes, a red cybernetic arm, and sort of geometric shaped tattoos, a bright yellow plated jacket, and a purple ballistic bodysuit.
I don't like her aesthetic. It's like there's a lot of colours that she's wearing, but sure.
Yes. Yep. And she has this sort of dark red hair, like a burgundy colour. She's standing there. She has just holstered her huge cannon-like weapon. She's sort of placed it on her shoulder area over her red cybernetic arm, and a little, almost like a little attachment comes out of her shoulder blade, grips the weapon so it's there ready, looking at you guys, eyeing you sort of up and down. You guys are sort of panting in your battle stances as you start to ease. Edwina asks you, "Can you please sheath your weapons? I don't want any trouble."
I put my hands in my pockets.
Mine's kind of attached, but I'll power it down.
This isn't a ploy, it's not a trick. As you can see, I helped you dispose of Turbo. He acted against our will and my command. It's not the best thing for us that he's dead, but I mean, he could have really, really done some damage here.
Perhaps, but you also did intervene just before we killed him anyway.
That is true. I was hoping to disable him before he was killed, but I honestly didn't want to risk coming past this. And she taps her cybernetic arm against that laser grid, the orange wall. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Didn't want to go past this to find myself being cut down just like Turbo was being cut down. She sort of wipes the sweat from her forehead. "Give me 1 second, please." She reaches up and she sort of taps on the side of her head, and you see beneath her skin this subdermal implant sort of blinks. And she says, "Echton? Yep. Look, you've probably seen what Turbo did. Look, I tried to stop him, but he's too far gone. A fool. A fucking idiot. Yeah, I know. We'll deal with the edict. I'll deal with them. Keep busy." She looks up at you guys. It seems like she's listening to something. Okay. Yeah, I think he's fine. I'll take care of him. She takes her hand away from her temple area, and the light that's beneath her skin sort of blinks out. Look, guys, we don't know who you are. We're guessing you're from one of the megacorps or an investigative organization of some sort that wants Echton. But he wants to speak to you. I'm going to turn this laser grid off, but just know that these things that you've been fighting, we have plenty more of them. So if you threaten me or Gregor, you'll be fighting quite a lot more. Are we clear?
Crystal.
She walks over to the wall behind her and does a swipe motion, and the wood panel slides apart to reveal a display screen. This black glossy glass screen. She taps on it and swipes, and a user interface comes up, and she types in a code, places her hand on the glass panel. Very similar to the way that you had placed Gregor's hand against those sort of palm readers in the various rooms of this labyrinthian laboratory. And that laser grid, that orange beams deactivate. She walks over towards Gregor, her hand on a canto, this small, like, elven blade. It's like a mini katana. Her hand on that, and she's walking across towards Gregor, eyes, so the corner of her eyes watching you guys. She walks up and checks his pulse, checks his forehead, looks up to you, Lokag. I saw you defending him during the battle, and I just want to say it went a long way in my decision making, and I think it's gone a long way in Echton's choices that he has from now. He's seen that you guys are not here just to murder and kill and put a stop to this by any means necessary. Maybe you can be reasoned with.
Definitely can be reasoned with. Yep.
Great. Thank you. And she puts out her hand to shake yours.
Sure. I'll shake it.
She grips your hand and she shakes it. And then she points to the north wall where there is a wooden or hallway with the wooden paneling and floorboards running down there. If you enter through there, you will find the main laboratory. Echton. Dr. Echton. He doesn't like us calling him Lazarus. It just kind of sticks because it's a funny name. Echton will speak to you. I'll take care of him from now. And she pulls out a stim from a pouch on her jacket, and stabs it into Gregor's leg, presses the button. He doesn't wake up immediately, but she then checks over his wounds and stuff.
Well, when he wakes up, if he's looking for his photo, it fell out the other side of the door, but yeah, you look after him, we'll go see Dr. Echton. And I'll walk over to Cortaine and start whispering. Oi, what's the plan? You talking? Give us some direction, great fearless leader.
Let's talk with him for a bit, but we need a signal. We need like a word that if I slip into conversation, you guys get ready to wreck some stuff. Let's say
banana.
Hayashida walks up to you, places his hand on your shoulder, Cortaine. It's a good idea to have a command. Just remember, we can use comms. It'll be quiet. If you whisper into the comm, we can all hear it clearly. I suggest maybe saying, and he reaches up, touching Lokag's hammer. It's hammer time.
I think I need to go with Little Moss on this. We need a signal that I can say if I was speaking to, if we're talking aloud to Dr. Lazarus, but something that wouldn't necessarily raise suspicion.
Surely that comes into your everyday conversation.
What, it's hammer time?
Yeah, like don't you say it every second day?
I don't. I say it's sword time. I don't say it's hammer time.
Hayashida laughs to himself. Cortaine, sometimes you're just way too serious.
The
What about it's banana time?
key word will be banana.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Man, I haven't had those for years. Those great protein bars.
Now, while I did say I walked up to Cortaine, I would have then started moving along because there was no reason to just stand there in the lounge room and have that conversation rather than as we walked along.
Cool. You guys move through the north hallway until you find this steel door with this frosted glass. It slides open to reveal a larger room. Yeah, probably like 40 foot by 40 foot. The ceiling's probably about 30 high. There are 2 desks sort of facing each other with all of these computer systems and hollow screens. It's pretty tidy. And further past the desks, there are 4 surgical beds. 2 are empty and 2 have reconstructed, we'll call them zombies, resting in there with sort of white sheets over them. There are these monitoring equipment which are whirring and beeping, and the creatures are not moving. They're not sitting up. One is looks like it could be a half orc, possibly by the skin tone, because it's the kind of darkish olive green, and the other looks like maybe a human man, very, very skinny human man. You can see through the north wall. The north wall is large glass panels, and there is a busy factory-like lab. There are all of these single-arm fabrication robots assembling cybernetic parts and arranging them and then placing them into these stasis fields, which have a holographic projection of a subject. Like you for example, you see an orc and an elf displayed, like a corpse of an orc and an elf displayed in various places, and the cybernetics are being placed in this stasis field over the missing limbs and parts of their body, probably to set up where they will be installed in the subject. You can see Dr. Echton Lazarus behind the glass in this room. He's standing there in his white coat, his black shirt, black tie, his glasses on, his hair tied back. He taps on the glass and you see this holo display in the area that he's tapping, and you hear his voice come through the room. I'm sorry I was quick to assume that you had killed or hurt my friend Gregor. I do apologize that my temper got the best of me.
Well, we didn't kill him. He seemed nice enough. He seemed like he was, fighting us for some noble reasons, which, given that I think we've seen his family, we can all understand.
Yes, you have seen them. Mira and Talela, they are both critically injured. And I'm going to help them. Now, my facial recognition system was not able to piece together enough information about you to your blockers, your masks. So I don't know why you're here. I can only assume that you are here to stop my research or kidnap me or something of the like for a corporation or organization.
I lost something, and it might be in the sewers. Cortaine, what are we here for again?
We're here because of an item you've stolen. I think you'll know it as the Helm of the Undying.
My Helm of the Undying.
Lokag's Helm of the Undying.
I paid a fair price for such an artifact, in which... Well, yes, the one that you do speak of. And I paid for it, so I'm sorry, but it is mine, and it is of vital importance to my research.
Yeah, but the person you bought it from, let's assume that's true, stole it, didn't they, Lokag?
It was a busy night, but yeah, no, I was in possession of it, and it got stolen out from underneath me. Robbed. Deceitful. I think you should, go back to your dealer and write him a complaint.
Where did you steal it from? Lokag, I believe you are called.
That's correct. And I will get back to you.
Ooh. Do you need any fruit, Cortaine?
No, it's all right. I'm looking at my vitals now, and I'm fine. I'm fine right now.
Okay.
No need for
Okay.
some potassium. I'll let you know though.
All right. Let us know if you need to split.
I've got no memory of how I acquired it in the first place, and I'm still under the effects of my drugs, so my intelligence is lower than normal, so I'm just going to let that slide, because I got no idea.
Because I'm actually super curious, and I was hoping for some backstory at that moment, and I'm like, oh.
No. Would you like me to divulge how you got it? Okay.
All I remember was a massive bender. With the 3 locations, I went to the awesome one, and you flesh it out, because
You basically stole it from the Gasuto. You stole it from them, and then they kind of stole it back.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
He didn't lose it.
Poker might have been involved.
Yeah. Now, I don't believe you'll answer my question, honestly, but who sent you? Who sent you to find me?
We're here. Well, we were sent here by Hayashida's lot.
Dr. Lazarus, we are not willing to tell you who has contracted us as mercenaries to come and find you. Very well.
Oh, yeah, I could have just said I'm not telling instead of just palming off the answer.
Spigs sends a message to Cortaine by the comms, and it says we could always say we're here to take it before the corpse take it and use it and abuse it.
Cortaine then says we're here to make sure that no megacorp gets hold of such a terrifying artifact.
Now, are you deceiving him? Is your plan to try and get this and then give it to Lorien and the Keepers of Law? Or are you trying to and lie to Ultradie? Or if you do get this artifact, are you going to give it to Ultradie?
Can you truly lie if you've got no plan?
If you have no intent, then can there be deceit? I think we need to get it for Lorien.
I think
that's our backstory.
I think that's the case. So Cortaine is telling the truth.
Okay. That is good, because I offered them an undying cyborg soldier or security officer. I offered them someone they didn't need to pay, that doesn't need to sleep, to protect their interests, but all they wanted was eternal life, and did not like the results of an undead soldier, so they cut my funding and threatened them. So I'm happy that you're not here to steal this artifact from me and palm it off to the highest bidder, which is no doubt a megacorporation. I don't trust them.
If you're happy, does that mean you're going to hand it over to us?
I'm not that happy. No, I am not going to hand it to you. Like I said, it is vital. It is vital to my research. It is vital to my experiments. It is staying here behind a locked wall.
What if we could loan it to you? Keep it safe for a bit. You could borrow it for some times.
For me to continue my research, I need access to the artifact. I need it to be here so that I can... No doubt you understand what my aim is. My goal.
Doctor, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, go ahead.
So, if you need a mystical artifact to raise people from the dead, like, you're not a very good doctor then, are you?
It's
Like, you would think that science would kind of do the job for you, but no, you need a mystical fucking helmet to do your research, inverted commas. That's a bit shit.
Damn it, man! I'm a wizard, not a doctor.
Look, like I said before, I was able to supply my beneficiaries a soldier, a drone. I could turn a corpse into a moving creature. It's half cybernetic, half undead biological matter. But what I want to do is to bring somebody back using a mixture of technology, science, and the science of the arcane energies, things that we do not understand anymore, things that we once had a grasp on. But since time has passed and we have lost the means to tap into the place of arcane energies, those otherworldly dimensions, the three of us, Edwina, Gregor, myself, want to bring people back properly. We want to bring them back not as a mindless beast, but as a living, breathing person.
Just cutting you off in your monologue, I'll use my two huge arms and grab Cortaine and Spigs, and then I turn back to Dr. Echton and go, "What was Turbo's deal? Like, he looked pretty dead." And then I'm going to use the comms, looking at Cortaine and Spigs and going, "Oi, could he be like a colleague? Could he help out, old mate?" "Turbo looks pretty much alive."
Yes, the one that we know as Turbo was brought...
Word on the street, he was a dick before and he was a dick just now.
And now he's a dead dick. And he and others from his filthy criminal syndicate were brought to me for reconstruction, we will say. Turbo wasn't quite dead. And
You serious?
a bugbear
He wasn't quite
brought
dead?
to us. No, he wasn't. He was on the brink of death, but he wasn't.
He fell like 300 feet from the air.
And 70% of his body was reconstructed with cybernetic and robotic components. His brain and heart, lungs, a few other vital organs were intact, yes, but most of his muscle and skeletal system was dust.
So, Doctor,
Yes.
you pimp out zombie soldiers so that you can try and bring back somebody that you loved, somebody that you knew, somebody that you feel should be brought back for the betterment of New Ettica. Like, what's your vibe? What's your
Yes.
motivation?
I do not loan out my subjects and creations. I sometimes need funding. I have partnered with various organizations in secret to reconstruct or perform cybernetic surgeries on their members, like Turbo.
I just don't think that just because you paid for something that was essentially stolen means that you have the right to it. Like, it belongs with people that know its true power and can protect it from evil.
I understand its true power. Have you seen hordes of undead creatures walking the streets of Darkhaven? Or anywhere in New Ettica?
That's every Friday night.
I think Cortaine has seen some things that will stay with him till the day that he dies, of natural causes, and then he'll die and he won't come back because that's how it's supposed to work.
It is how it's supposed to work. Did you use the Helm of the Undying in the reconstruction of Turbo?
I did not.
So
He's just packed, well, he was just packed full of technology. And to answer your question, and he looks at you, Little Moss.
Just call me Moss.
Moss, to answer your question, Moss, I will be bringing back Gregor's family, his wife, and his daughter, and those other people who I've offered my services to bring their loved ones back, their loved ones who have died before their time. I believe people should die. I do not believe in eternal life, but I believe that people shouldn't die in an untimely manner. Gregor's wife and daughter, they were murdered in what some might call a everyday occurrence in Darkhaven, a alleyway robbery. They were shot, killed, left for dead, and their brains went offline. If you can understand that I can use this helmet and technology to bring them back online. Let me give you an example. If you will, please remain calm. One of the beings in front of you will activate, and they are not like the others that you have come in contact with. This one, this subject, his name is Bruce. Bruce, would you kindly wake up for us? And you see the half-orc laying on the surgical bed. His eyes open, and he sits up. His cybernetics on his neck, part of his face, his body, there are these muscular and vein-like tubes running below this, or beneath this sort of opaque, this frosted white plastic over his chest area that starts to pulse this blue.
Where am I?
Says the half-orc. Sergeant Bruce, you're in my laboratory. Remember we talked about this a few days ago?
Sorry, Doc. My head's crazy foggy. It's hard to remember. How am I doing?
You were showing promise, like I told these gentlemen. I've been able to help you. Your body was dying, and it is now stable. It's not deteriorating. It's not falling apart like previous experiments and subjects. And your mind is intact. It is not falling to an undead rage. But Bruce, like we discussed before, I'm not sure how long you can stay conscious before your memories dissipate and we lose you. Gentlemen, I need time to figure out how I can find Bruce's long and short-term memory centers. This is the next piece in my research. Because if I can find those centers, I can transfer them into a cerebral storage device. I have plans for one. I haven't been able to design a functioning energy core yet. But I will get there. I'm very close. And if I can't transfer those memories, I can possibly stop the deterioration of the mind. Bruce turns to look at the glass where Dr. Echton Lazarus is.
Yeah, okay, Doc.
I don't need the specifics. It kind of creeps me out. All that weird stuff. But I appreciate it. Just want to get back to my husband. I want to get back to my life, my dog. I miss them. Bruce, you kindly rest. And the half-orc lays back down, his eyes closed, and that blue vein-like system beneath that frosted plastic slowly pulses to a stop and goes out. As I said, my research is promising, gentlemen. But the longest one of my subjects has been able to hold their memories before they fail is 3 hours, 12 minutes. And I want to continue this research. I am very close. And so you cannot take the helm. I need it.
Luke. Sorry.
Well, Doc, you already run out of kind of time by the fact that we're even here. What if we could organize someplace else for you to continue research till you?
I am in the.
Would you be okay?
I'm in the oldest section of Lower Ettica. I am deeper and further through the tunnel systems that even waterways corporations or Sunfarer systems or Bio-Octa even map anymore. You saw them. You saw the tunnels on your way in here. They are cobblestone. They are bluestone. They are old and ancient. This was one of the most secretive places.
Yeah,
in the city.
but we found it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not really good at finding things
But
either.
you found
so
it only because one
we
of
can
my
find it.
subjects broke free. Gregor has been trying to find ways to secure my subjects. We don't want to destroy all of them because there could be a way of bringing back some of their minds once I finish my program.
Luke, could you please describe again the situation we're in? Like, are we face to face with Dr. Lazarus? Is he behind?
Yeah, so you're in the center of like this large main laboratory with these 2 desks filled with computer screens and stuff like that, and then these 4 beds with 2 subjects in them. And north, there is the wall is just glass, and beyond that glass, there is that fabrication room with all those robots building cybernetic shit.
Mm-hmm.
He is behind that glass in that fabrication room. To the west and the east, there are hallways that sort of stretch out with this polished concrete flooring and these white panel walls.
Yeah, okay.
But yes, he is in the next room behind this glass.
And is the next room, is there an obvious entryway for us?
There is this kind of like 2 steel beams, probably 6 foot apart, and then there's a glass panel between it. So you assume that the glass panel might slide up or to the side or something, and that would be a doorway. But you can't be 100% sure unless you maybe go and look at it or roll a mechanics check.
I'm just saying we could offer you a more secure place
Where?
to do this.
Like I said, this was one of the most secure places I could find, and the only reason you found me was because one of my subjects broke free.
And that's
Because of the rage that is contained within the helmet.
And that's
When it brings...
what the problem is, Dr. Lazarus. You say you can control it. You've told us that you can, but the very fact that we're here shows that your control is imprecise. That there's that you can't control the helm, and your you might be making progress on your work, but what you're doing is unnatural. When it comes time for your death, when you die of natural causes, will you then decide it is untimely? Will you then decide that you will break your own rules, and resurrecting yourself isn't all that bad, is it? I mean, if it's what needs to be done to continue your great work, will you really allow yourself to die?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just wrong.
It's wrong.
Like,
you're right, Little Moss. The joys of life, you know, you're talking about Gregor, his family are dead, they died. It was unjust, and that's a tragedy. But what you're doing is wrong, and the good things in life are the simple things. They're Gregor with his family when he was with them. There's, you know, going on your speeder down a road. There's eating a simple food like a banana. These are the real things that make life worth living, not immortality.
Don't they ever?
With that code phrase, Lokag is, I'm assuming, had we moved towards any of those tables?
You guys were in the center of the room. Nobody said they were moving up to
correct. No one said we moved
the
anywhere.
bed
So
or the glass wall or anything.
Lokag is going to strut towards one of the heavy tables. Well, actually, a perception check. Can I pick these tables up? Like, are they bolted to the ground? Are they part of the floor? Can these tables be moved?
These 4 are bolted into the ground with a large platform base.
Metal
You
bolts,
could-
I'm assuming.
Yeah, you could try. You can definitely try to pull one out of the ground. The desks are probably more easily moved than the tables.
How heavy do the desks look?
Decently heavy.
Do they look like they're heavier than a car?
Nah,
And they
Not
look like
heavier
they're
than a
pretty
car.
solid.
How?
they're fairly solid. They're made out of like a stainless steel of some sort, a chrome steel.
Yeah, so Lokag's going to walk towards one of those desks with, assume, all the computer stuff on it.
Yep, it's just got screens and glossy touchpads.
Oh, well,
and
actually,
a keyboard.
So Lokag's intention with a nod and I'm picking that thing up in the voice comms is to walk towards the desk, and then his intention is to go to the desk, pick it up, and throw it through the window. But that's what he's moving slowly towards.
One question, Luke, beforehand, and this might not come to anything. How, compared to the desk, how heavy is Cortaine in his TAU armor? Which you've described as essentially like tank armor before.
Yeah, it's like a slightly bulkier Iron Man suit. Pretty fairly heavy. You'd probably weigh.
Weight of a car?
Am I going to toss
Yes,
you?
like a small car. A small car, probably.
Okay. I'll message Lokag and just say, I'm feeling heavy today.
Walk with me.
I'll walk with Lokag.
So we're just walking up within 15 feet of the glass wall.
To answer, he's watching you guys as you're walking closer. To answer your question, as he looks at Spigs and then back to the 2 walking, where? I might consider moving to a different location, but where? Where is more secure than this? Where?
The library. The library.
Well,
The books.
we've got some far more powerful stuff in a way than what you're playing with. So
More powerful than the Helm of the Undying? Roll deception, sir.
It's a half
It is,
truth.
isn't it? There's a demon in the basement.
It is.
Oh,
perfectly-
you're not saying it as in like, don't fuck with us, we've got powerful things. You're saying it as in like, where?
No,
There's
I'm
a
saying
thing of
legit-
power in the
Ah,
library.
okay.
There's literally. Have you ever heard of I don't know, it was pretty scary. Big, really,
I'm right here.
I don't mean that like that. I mean big horns take over the world sort of thing.
As you say that, Cortaine, I need you to roll a wisdom check for me with disadvantage.
Oh, dang it! That was so good.
trigger
Yeah,
warning.
I just
That's not bad.
It might
It's not
enrage
bad
you to
until
break
I
the
look at
glass,
my
so it
modifier.
might be good.
12.
14, my boy. Yes. That puny man right there has what we need. With that helm, we can defend all of Darkhaven, even all of New Ettica.
You're right. You can. You can.
Sorry, what?
That's not.
Was
So-
that was in my mind.
Cortaine. Cortaine, you
Okay.
hear that in your mind.
Yeah. And
You stop moving. You start sweating quite a lot. And then you see these flashes of this room. It's this room with five beams of light.
no, there's 4.
There are four. There are only four. There are 5 beams of light. A large one in the center. There is this plinth with an object sitting on it. Underneath the 4 other lights, there are these large devices that have like a Tesla coil-like design on top of it. And there are these mist-like tentacle sort of like it's moving like a tentacle or like a wave that's coming from this center of the room and from this object out into these Tesla coil things, this sort of sickly teal energy. And your vision is shaking and the edges of it is getting dark, and you see the image, or you see the your eyes focus on the thing in the center of the room. And if you go up to the text channels and podcast the post, if you click that,
Oh, that's cool.
you see this death mask, this Egyptian-like design. It has that the Egyptian headpiece,
And like
a skull-like face, and this long protruding
the
chin.
beard wrapping.
And the center of its... Say that again, sorry?
Like a beard wrap, isn't it? You know what they were?
Yeah, like a beard. Yeah, a beard wrap. This on its forehead there is this cobra-like idol that has the head of a jackal instead of a snake face, a snake head. It is hovering above the plinth. There is this sickly teal light coming from it, and then these pink eyes open up inside the sockets of this death mask, this helm of the Undying. You then see the creature behind it, the creature from the vault, the creature from your nightmares, the creature from your visions. It's standing there with its arms, all of its arms out. It's reaching into the air, and that hot pink burning energy, that pinky red burning energy is emanating from this symbol in its chest of this crown. Its silver crown on its head is just bleeding that black ooze, and its lipless face smiles. It's not a smile like a humanoid would smile. You can't really see that it's a smile, you can just feel that it's smiling. And the creature beckons to you with its arms, all 4 of its arms. It's beckoning you. Guys in the room, you see Cortaine stop. Lokag, you continue to walk past him, and then you notice he's stopped walking. And you turn back to look at him, and you see from the slot in his helmet, there is like this, for a quick second, there is this pinky red light shining out of there, like this unstable, fiery pink light, and then it goes away. And Cortaine, you sort of fall to one knee, catch yourself, you stand up. Lazarus, his hands are against the glass, and he says, "What was that? What was that?" He's like holding his chest. "You've done it. You've brought some evil here. Something worse than the helm." And as he looks around the room, you guys hear screaming from the left and the right, the east and the west hallways. you hear this like a cacophony of screams, all of these different high tones, low tones, screeching, some guttural growls, some smashing on doors. Echton falls to the ground, and Spigs, as you say that, you look down one of the hallways and you see all of these doors. They just burst off their hinges, and all of these cybernetic zombies start to just push their way out of the door frame, screaming in pain, gripping their heads. All of their eyes are glowing this pink, this fiery pink color. They all...
Dr. Lazarus, do the kill switch now!
Lazarus walks up, places his hand on the wall, on that section of the glass, and you guys see all of this text coming up and compiling. What have you done? He looks up on the glass. There's blood where he put his hand. You see all of the lights turn red and turrets start popping down from the roof. All of these red lasers start pointing at you guys. All of these red lasers from turrets in the hallways start pointing at the undead creatures that have started moving down the hallways. And that is where we'll leave this episode.
Oh, yeah. Can't believe I have a Trojan horse for a demon.
Okay, so thanks for downloading. Thank you for listening. Thank you for placing some small, what are they called? What are little tomatoes called? The little ones? Cherry tomatoes. Yeah, thanks for placing a bunch of cherry tomatoes in a iron skillet and then putting them in the oven until they get some of those nice little lines on it, and then rolling them down a hill until they just turn to a fine paste. Yep.
Hey guys, do you remember Lokag's backstory? Or like, I don't know, Cortaine's and Spigs and how their family was? Neither do I. What I should do is actually go back through the podcast and really listen to it and find out what I know about my own character. And you guys can join me for the journey, going to www.beyondthedice.com to re-listen to all our sweet episodes and our sweet voices. Check out that website. It's got links to all our other stuff and it's a fun little playground that sends you off to better playgrounds.
Did you leave me out because I don't have a family? Like, you mentioned everybody else in the podcast.
No.
You even mentioned the DM, but you didn't mention me.
No, that's not why I left you out. I just mental blank. Oh, if you, like, Little Moss is there too. You can find his backstory. You can go to like,
oh no, banana,
no. Remember those fists that he got in the first episode and never used again? You can find out why. Banana.
No.
Oh, so good.
No, you can't because I don't even know.
Maybe Trev should also go to our website. Oh, too good. Are you also possessed by a demon? Are you a Trojan horse for one? Is it telling you to go onto our Instagram? Well, I'll tell you what our Instagram is, so you can go there and obey your master lord. So it is at Beyond the Dice, where you can totally check out all our pictures we put up there. D&D, other games we play, minis we paint, all the good stuff. Check it out again.
And after you've gone to our Instagram page, why don't you also go to our Facebook page at Beyond the Dice? You can check out other pictures, but also just get the news when the new episode's released, when you can find out what happens after a demon tries to take control of Cortaine and awaken a horde of zombies.
And while you're on this whirlwind trip with the internet, leave us a review at your preferred platform. Thank you.
And
we have a store, but Luke will tell you about that.
Yeah, so we have a store. You can get t-shirts and jumpers and tote bags and mugs and masks for the COVID times. You can wear a t-shirt over your face. You can wear a tote bag over your face. You can wear a mug over your face. You can wear a mask on your head.
But
Luke,
is it the Mask of the Undying? Can they buy that on
Or the Mask of
I might make one. You can get them there. It's not just our podcast related merch, but some other sort of D&D and RPG, some sci-fi stuff on there, some various bits and pieces. Check it out. That is at store.beyondthedice.com. And if you can't afford to buy a t-shirt or a tote bag or a mug or a mask or a hat or whatever, you can support us for free by telling a friend, by sharing something about us on social media, a link, or just going onto your messenger, whatever messenger program you use, type listen to beyondthedice.com, click send to all, and then that's pretty easy to do. You should do that. And then if you end up in a creepy basement full of smelly undead creatures filled with technology, just make a fire and use the sprinklers or something, because technology can't get wet, right? Because otherwise it gets electrocutions, right?
I think that's massive.
Nah, okay, cool. All right.
Thanks, Luke.
Good night. Catch you guys
See you
today.
See you all.
Banana.
Split.
And stop.